Damn, Danny. Damn, Danny.
Downtown, I got that heat, let's go.
What up, good people? Happy Wednesday, January 29th, 2025. It's earnings week. Carryover, we had Verizon Friday, AT&T Monday, today T-Mobile. Truth be told, every carrier showed incredible strength. I mean, basically, all of them were showing really, really good metrics. I can't really point to one and say they did awful in any particular thing. Of course, somebody's going to finish first and second and third in a business out of three. But seriously, man, the numbers from all these guys were stellar. I think it proves one really important concept. A company can do as good as it wants to do when it wants to do it and it focuses on it. If they neglect something, overlook it, deprioritize it, they won't do as good in that sort of thing. I mean, that's what I learned. So we're going to go over everything now that we got the T-Mobile results and AT&T and Verizon. We got them all. We can compare them. All those types of things. My brother Cipriani said, listen, we need more podcasts. I do it as, I swear, Cip, listen, man. I do it as often as I can, legit. It's just tough, man. It's hard to find the time, you know. The little ones are getting busy, you know. So I do the best I can, bro. And I know you know I'm trying. What up, Sam? Watching in the hotel tonight. All three carriers are dead, but the Wi-Fi is pushing 600 meg. At least you got that. What up, Speed Test Channel? Salute, man. That's right, Max. That is right. Oh, good job, Max. You and MS saying it's, you noticed the new tunes. Absolutely, absolutely. We got to keep you guys entertained in the lobby. You know what? Let me just start at the top. What's up, Raging Dusty? What's going on, buddy? Coral Red S25 Plus. I think I'm going to order the same. Not the same color. I'm going to get the same phone, though. I think I'll do that. What up, B?
Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Good day.
It was all right.
Raging Dusty said T-Mobile had a churn of 0.92. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
Worst in the industry.
Couldn't wait to squeeze that one out. You were waiting on that one.
I mean, the truth is the truth.
It is the truth, absolutely. Anyone know if that churn was inclusive of the FWA that they canceled for being used at the wrong address? It is not. They do not report fixed wireless or broadband churn rate.
Of course they don't. They don't report fixed wireless or broadband revenue either, to my knowledge. Do they, Sneed?
Only Verizon does.
Oh, imagine that. Oh, my God. Continue.
Bro, why you got to do that, bro?
I'm sorry. My bad.
You know I can't lie. You know I can't, bro.
I know. That's why I asked. You're a good man.
Oh, my God.
You're obviously not a T-Mobile employee. Oops.
You're setting me up, bro. Setting me up to just...
I'm sorry, man.
Can't even play spoiler with you, man.
I'm sorry.
All right. Let's see here. Think it's time to go out and do some speed testing when the temperature doesn't involve a negative sign. Absolutely. Going out there at -10? No, sir. What up, Green? What's going on, brother? S25 series. I'm getting mine in the mail in a couple of days.
Outstanding.
Coral Red, dude.
Outstanding. Enjoy. I heard it's a really nice phone.
Deliveries for the S25 Ultra happening? Wow.
Outstanding.
Mm-hmm.
Get your
make sure you guys try it on all the best networks, right? You get access to the 5G Ultrawide band, the 5G Plus, the 5G Ultra capacity. You know?
Yeah, you listed it in the right order.
I know MS uses, you know, the big red network, so
he's a smart man.
Yeah.
He's clearly an educated man.
Be already starting like this. Yeah, I know, man.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm here to provide comic relief tonight.
Oh, yeah. You can support us on Patreon or become a YouTube member, and you get additional access to live streams and videos and early access to content. There's lots of perks and benefits. More access to me, too.
Speed Test Channel. How you doing, man?
Yeah. up in the house. All right, let's do AT&T's quarter, and then we'll do T-Mobile's quarter, and then we're going to round it out comparing them all to each other directly.
That's right, EM. Very concerning. Very concerning, EM. Well said.
Where
Very
is he?
concerning.
Where is he?
I don't know. Maybe he's on a date.
Dang.
Maybe he's on a fresh date, man. A hot date. I don't know.
Caleb is ready for the Tesla phone to come out. Okay.
Never heard of it.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, me neither. I never heard of it.
All right, B, you ready?
Yes, sir.
AT&T finishes 2024 strong, delivering growth in 5G and fiber subs, service revenues, cash from operations, and free cash flow. And they reiterated their full year 2025 guidance. Okay, let's see what they did here. All right, let's get the boring stuff out of the way. Kind of sort of matters to us because we discuss it often. Revenue, and this is just for housekeeping. We can compare all the carriers once we get through the numbers. Revenues of just over $32 billion. Cash from operating activities, just a shade under $12 billion. CapEx, $6.8 billion. Free cash flow, $4.8 billion. Okay, so we'll come back to that. Highlights from the quarter in growth: 482,000 postpaid phone net adds, industry-leading 0.85% churn rate, mobility service revenues of $16.6 billion, 307,000 AT&T fiber net adds, 20 consecutive quarters of 200,000 or more. That number is really, really good. Consumer broadband revenues, $2.9 billion. So, yeah, that's good stuff. So they're closer to like $20 billion in service revenues for those two services. Full year consolidated results on the year: $122.3 billion. CapEx, $20.3 billion. Free cash flow, $17.6 billion. You write those numbers down, B?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. You must have a good memory. All right. Okay.
No, I have them on the other phone. I have them
All
on the
right.
other
Gotcha.
phone.
Okay. 1.7 million postpaid phone net adds for the year. Postpaid churn on the year, 0.76. 65 billion in mobility service revenues on the year, 1.0 million AT&T fiber net adds, 11.2 billion in consumer broadband revenues, 29 million consumer and business locations passed with fiber. Outlook for 2025. Free cash flows, 16 billion plus. That puts it in line with this year. They're probably sandbagging. I think it's going to be higher than that. EBITDA growth, 3 to 4%. I think Verizon guided something like that. Mobility service revenue growth, 2 to 3% improvement expected. I think Verizon guided that too. Consumer fiber broadband revenue, mid-teens. That's pretty encouraging and exciting. All right. They launched the AT&T guarantee during that quarter, or recently. 7 straight years with 1 million or more AT&T fiber net adds. They are the consummate, consistent, reliable grower in fiber and home broadband. Postpaid phone, they continue to thrive. Best deals for new and existing customers. Yeah, 7 straight years of 1 million or more AT&T fiber net adds.
I'm sorry, Sneed. You said they are the what? The leader in...
The consummate and consistent grower in fiber net adds.
Oh, okay, because first you said fiber and home broadband. Okay.
Fiber home broadband.
My apologies. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
sorry.
Their copper is trash, and we know it's on its way out.
Go ahead, man. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
Yeah. I think that's all we really need to discuss for now. All right, so here are my highlights and takeaways from AT&T. Their strengths continue to be their strengths. They grow in postpaid phone net ads. Profitability is pretty good. They improved it, I think, by like 40 or 50 cents per subscriber. Churn rate is industry leading for the year, industry leading for the quarter. Fiber broadband is doing really, really well. 40% penetration rate. I think $74 is their ARPU on fiber. Prepaid churn was under 3. That seems to be kind of where the carriers like to be. I didn't really see many weaknesses. They actually spent a little bit less on CapEx, and I think I know why. I think it was because their free cash flow wouldn't have looked as good. I think they did that very particularly so they didn't fall behind T-Mobile in free cash flow. That's just me speculating. I look, if they would have spent the $22 billion like they guided, they would have had $3.5 billion in free cash flows, which would have been $1 billion less than T-Mobile. They ain't having that. That stock would plummet. So they're kicking ass in fiber. They're kicking ass in postpaid phone, whether it's churn, growth, whatever. Service revenues, they came in, I believe, second in the industry behind Verizon, but they weren't even really close. Whether it's the year or the quarter, they just don't. They don't scale wireless like Verizon does. AT&T is clearly number 3 when it comes to net subscribers and all those types of things. The street loved AT&T's quarter. They loved their year, and they rewarded them. The stock popped, I think, 6 or 7% the day that they dropped earnings on Monday. And I think it's even garnered a couple extra percent since then. So it's been good for AT&T since they dropped earnings. AT&T's place within the industry is one that shows growth with decent profitability and margins and a trajectory of upside because, they've convinced the investor in Wall Street they've got this thing turned around and they're going to continue to go in the right direction. Now, how you choose to execute that, AT&T, with shrinking your workforce, bringing all your employees back to the office but not giving them desks. There are some really unconventional things happening there. But, it looks like they'll cut off their left arm to hit the metrics. So, I think comparatively, AT&T, in some ways, as good as Verizon, and in some ways not as good as Verizon, but the street rewarded AT&T better than they rewarded Verizon. Because the free cash flows were higher at Verizon. The service revenues were higher at Verizon. AT&T paid down debt, so did Verizon. What Verizon does in fixed wireless access, AT&T does that in fiber. So their their broadband additions are very similar in that respect. AT&T Internet Air, I think they had 158,000 ads. Put that on top of 307,000 fiber, and that's like 470,000 broadband customers added. I think Verizon had like 50,000 Fios and then like 408,000 FWA or something. Like they're so close in so many things. So in some ways, Verizon was better. In some ways, they were very, very similar, almost identical. Verizon is still a more profitable company. Their ARPU for the postpaid subscriber is higher, which is the core business, and that's how the business scales. But AT&T got rewarded much more than Verizon did after dropping earnings. Which takes us to T-Mobile. Should we jump into T-Mobile, or do you want to give me your take on AT&T, B?
You can continue, Sneed. Go ahead.
Okay. All right, so this was the big one today. This one got the market rocking. Some of these numbers are crazy. T-Mobile delivers best-in-class customer results in 2024 as more people join the Un-carrier than ever before and is poised for another exciting year of growth in 25. Industry-leading customer growth fueled by best network, best value, best experience combination. T-Mobile discussed this on the call very, very heavily.
Here we
All
go.
right. Postpaid net account additions, 263,000. 1.1 million on the year, both industry best. Nobody else records this in the industry.
Nobody. No, not one. Here we go. Industry leading. What else? Come on.
All right. Postpaid net customer additions of 1.9 million for the quarter, 6.1 million on the year, both industry best. Postpaid phone net customer adds, 903,000 for the quarter, 3.1 million on the year, both industry best. Postpaid phone churn, 0.92 for the quarter, tied for its lowest Q4, and 0.86 on the year, best full year in company history.
That ain't saying much. Companies sucked for decades. Go ahead, Sneed. Go ahead.
High-speed internet net customer additions of 428,000 Q4 and 1.7 million on the year, both industry best. Okay, let's tear this down, B. All right, I'm not going to say too much about the net account additions because they're the only ones that report that. I don't know what AT&T's is. I don't think they report it. I know Verizon doesn't because Verizon has net account losses. So they're not going to want to talk about that.
Nobody cares.
Well, yeah, I mean, to a certain extent, I guess if you were asking someone who cares for T-Mobile, they'll comparatively say, well, what did Verizon do in account additions?
I mean, 146 million customers, 568,000 new customers added.
Well, you know what?
Who really cares how many accounts that breaks down to?
Well, the problem is that Verizon reports wholesale revenues like I think they call them enterprise accounts. So like, Comcast Charter. So like how do we quantify that? That cuz those count. But they don't like on earnings. So it makes it kind of murky. It's hard to discern. The next one is the postpaid net customer additions. And then actually the one I care about cuz everybody reports it. Postpaid phone net customer additions 903,000. Again, industry leading. 903,000 basically means they grew as much as AT&T and Verizon combined. Postpaid phone churn at 0.92 puts them third. Verizon second at 0.89 and AT&T best in industry 0.85. For the year, T-Mobile came in at 0.86. That's their best full year in company history. I mean, what was Verizon's full year? I mean, they were in the upper eights, I think. I mean, they had a quarter where they were like over 0.9. So, just like T-Mobile.
Showed some improvement in the fourth quarter. Pretty good. And third and fourth quarter, I guess.
Yeah.
So they were able to stay below that now. It's good.
Yeah, for Verizon, it was a tale of two halves, right? It was like the first half and then the second half. They were nothing alike. The home broadband continues to be the shining star for AT&T, man. It's just automatic, 400,000 every quarter. 1.7 million on the year. They did have some quarters where I think they only did like 300 some, right? And that's why they only had 1.7 million on the year. Very typically they exceed 2 million. So I guess one thing we could poke at T-Mobile's game is churn rate being a little elevated this quarter compared to the last. And then for the year, high-speed broadband slowed a little bit. What do you want to poke a hole at, B? What do you think deserves some scrutiny out of that first segment?
Churn was worse than the industry. I think that says something because their churn has been elevated for actually the last several quarters. Of course, nobody wants to talk about it because of the growth, which I understand and I acknowledge. But the churn is something that needs to be cared and watched for because it is going up, which I think is a testament to the fact that the other two carriers are competing pretty well, particularly Verizon, because AT&T has been growing for a while now. But Verizon seems to be starting to figure it out, which is a good thing. And that seems to be affecting both AT&T and T-Mobile from a growth standpoint as far as churn is concerned. So, outside of that, I mean, T-Mobile did what they always do. They grow. I would like to know how many of those lines are free because we know that they got some freebies in there. We know how they do.
1 and 3 is free.
All right, so that takes away 300,000 of those. So if that's the case, then if that's the case, truly, Steve, if that's the case, then they're in line with right around in line with everybody else.
I mean, I have to assume it's at least 20 or 25% because not everybody goes to T-Mobile with 3 lines, but a lot of them will.
I mean, if every third line is free, then if you get 6 lines, you only got to pay for 4, right?
Per customer. So like, but if a customer goes with 1 line, they're not getting a third line free. They only have 1 line.
But
So
if
what
they
I'm saying is basically every multiple line account, like every 3 line or more.
So if you get 6 lines, it's not 2 lines free.
It is.
It's just one.
No. What I'm saying is if somebody has 1 line, I leave AT&T and I go to T-Mobile with 1 line. I don't have a free line.
All right, but if you get 6 lines,
then you got 2 free lines.
2 of them are free.
Yeah.
So all right, so let's assume that about 300,000 of those are freebies, and they're not affecting the bottom line. Mm-hmm. All right, so it's pretty much inflating the numbers,
bro. But they don't say it impacts their bottom line. They just count it as ARPA.
It doesn't matter. They count it as a net ad. They count it as an ad.
They do count it as a net ad. Yeah.
So if they count it as a gross and or net ad, then it's empty calories. It's cooking the books. To be honest with you, it's a free line. It's not accretive at all. They're not earning any revenue. But hey, I mean, it is what it is. They can do what they want. So, I mean, that's all I had really, Steve. I mean, you got to churn everything that's elevated. They cook the books like they've been doing. It is what it is. Go ahead.
Okay. Service revenues 16.9 billion. So actually, I don't know if that still passes AT&T because AT&T has multiple business segments. Postpaid service revenues of 13.5 billion.
How is that industry leading growth? Service revenues.
Industry leading growth. I think it's by percentage, B.
Okay, well, it doesn't say that. It just says industry leading growth.
That's the only way I can make sense of it because it's not.
I agree because I could have sworn Verizon reported wireless service revenue of like 20 billion.
No, so it was like 30 something.
No, that's cash from operations. Oh, so wireless service revenue was 20 billion.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just trying to figure. Here we go. Everything is industry leading. Everything is best in class. Best in. Oh my God.
EBITDA, core adjusted EBITDA, industry leading growth 7.
How the hell? Okay. Didn't Verizon report like 12 billion? Oh my God,
bro! Because T-Mobile's growing that segment for their business. It's industry leading growth, meaning they grew the most comparatively. The other companies have been doing the big number.
We need to just start seeing all the companies just put industry leading. Just figure out a way to put that in there. Just everybody be industry leading in something. That would begin match the energy.
Adjusted free cash flow of 4.1 billion. Okay, so that makes them third because AT&T reported 4.4 and Verizon reported 5.4. And total cumulative stockholder returns of $31.5 billion. Dividends. The dividend boys are very, very happy. All right. So that's the financials. Did they mention the capex? I think the capex came in at, well, at least the guide came in at $9.5 billion. We'll talk more about that later. For the third year in a row, T-Mobile won all 5 network experience categories from OpenSignal, 5G performance categories, consistent quality experience, and was unbeaten for reliability. Ookla won awards for the fastest, most consistent, most available 5G network, best gaming and mobile video streaming experience from Ookla. The company end-to-end high-capacity 5G network continues to differentiate itself from the competition, translates into real business outcomes. They won the City of New York contract for their public safety network. By the way, it's an exclusive. They're not sharing with anybody. It is T-Mobile all the way in the City of New York.
Don't get in any public safety issues in there. Not in that city. They're not gonna be able to contact you. Oh boy.
All right. Outlook for 2025, B. 5.5 to 6 million postpaid net customer adds. That will be the highest guide ever in the company's history. Core adjusted EBITDA expected to be between 33 and Well, 33.1 and 33.6 billion. And free cash flow 17.3 to 18.0. They're guiding higher technically than AT&T. And I think that puts them right in line with Verizon with the 17-ish billion mark. I think Verizon kind of guided similarly with that range. Here's some of the numbers that we might want to look at in more detail. Prepaid churn, 2.85. Typical, I guess. They've been under 3 for a while. Looking at Q4 2023 in home broadband, they had 541,000. Q4 2024, 428,000. So that's pretty steep drop off. Last in 2023, they added 2.1 million subs fixed wireless. In 2024, they added 1.6. All right, so a slower year in home broadband. B, do you think that's because the network capacity situation, or do you think the competition is taking?
I'm sorry, Sneed. What is it that we're talking about, man? I was reading the industry leading stuff up top. Go ahead.
The fixed wireless access for T-Mobile, they added 2.1 million subs in 2023. They added 1.6 million subs in 2024. Do you think that's because demand for the service is down, or competition amongst other providers has kind of tapped in?
I mean, competition's pretty steep right now. I would say it has probably a little bit more to do with that. Because I mean, I was telling you a little bit earlier that growth is challenged for their broadband. So
let me see, anything else we need to look at? Okay. I wanted to show the CapEx. You know what we're going to do? We're going to get to Speed Test Channel Super Chat, and then I want to get to the calls, what T-Mobile had to say today. So shout out to the Speed Test Channel who throws us the first Super Chat of the night. Salute to you. Thank you. Appreciate you, man. Why spend more on CapEx when you could just hold out your hand and the feds pay for your build? Hashtag 4.9. If for those of you that don't know, he's referring to FirstNet and the 4.9 gigahertz spectrum that they are likely going to get all of it and be paid to deploy it by FirstNet, being awarded and gifted that from the FCC. The squeaky wheel gets the grease, just like Hawaii. And those that know, they know. Who is this T-Mobile hater? How did T-Mobile hurt him? Yo, B, talk to him.
I don't even know who that is. Must be a first time guy on the show. I don't know. I never heard of him before.
Oh man, come on, man. It's RBB Ridicky, whatever. It's all good, man. No personal shots here at the channel. We don't do that. Argue the point. Don't take no personal shots. All right. Where's my notes, man? I had to listen to that call, dude. Earnings calls are the worst. I don't care what anybody says. They all suck. I had to sit through AT&T's. I had to sit through T-Mobile's. I had to sit through Verizon's. Oh my God. And the thing about it is, like, the Verizon one, I just had to listen. It was audio. AT&T's was audio only. T-Mobile does theirs on YouTube. So you get to like see them all at that little table thing. Okay. All right. Let's take a look at some of these things that T-Mobile told us. They led the call talking about New York City and the contract they just nailed. Greatest growth year ever, according to Mike Sievert. Mike Sievert also said that they are taking more share in the top 100 markets. That would be tier 1. They said they're also taking in small market and rural. Some of that conflicts with what Verizon told us. 2025 guidance, they're going to be increasing their additions. People are moving up. They said 60% of their customers take premium. They had the highest ARPU increase in 7 years. Customers love the T-Life app. They've got 70 million downloads. You know why, B? Because They make you download the app when you walk in the T-Mobile store, and they make you service your account that way.
Customers must love it. They keep coming.
For T-Mobile Business, it was the best queue ever. Best ever quarter in phone ads. Lowest churn ever. They didn't report business churn.
Of course not.
New York City Public Safety came up again. They talked about the T priority service. Broadband, they said it was the highest ever share take quarter. And also for the year. I don't know how that's possible.
Doesn't have to be. It's just industry leading. That's all you need to know.
Because they had a better year in 23. I don't understand.
Because it's industry leading, Steve.
All right, they have a new phrase. People who are cheap and don't want to spend a lot of money are called price discerning customers. T-Mobile is able to convince them to move up, according to Mike Sievert. They had the highest year-over-year ARPU growth in broadband. They have the best network, the best value, the best experience. Industry-leading financial growth by percentages, from what I could tell. Free cash flow is up 26%. They're giving $31 billion back to the shareholders. They got a new COO. Mike Sievert said, quote, "I want a right hand to better serve the company." He was quoted as saying, "We over-deliver. We continue to deepen our customer relationships. Customers love our price plan structure." He also signaled price increases. I mean, without actually saying price increases, he literally said there are a lot of legacy lines out there that are outdated.
I better not hear a word from none of y'all either. I better not hear nothing. I better not hear a word. Don't say nothing. Don't y'all come up here arguing, fussing, fighting, doing all that. I don't want to hear it. I better not hear a word.
Now, here's my take on this, right? I think they're going to wait for Verizon and AT&T to each go one more time.
Don't matter. As soon as they jump in the pool, they wet like everybody else.
Yeah. No, I get it. But what I'm saying is they're going to try to time it so that way they look less bad. You know what I'm saying? It's always about optics with T-Mobile. I think they're going to wait for them to do it. So they'll be like, oh, I mean, what are you going to do? Go to Verizon where they do it twice a year? We do it once every couple of years.
They did it twice last year.
But you get what I'm saying? They're going to try to play it off that way. Like we do it less.
Well, like I already predicted that this year, everybody's going to raise prices. So
sure, yeah.
I think we should all prepare for that.
Mm-hmm.
There were some people who disagreed and tried to argue me down on that. That's fine. History will prove out, that I was correct in what it is that I said. Prices are going to go up. So
there was a question where Eugene, Sweaty Armpits, was asked about possibly partnering with Starlink for home broadband. Mike Sievert said, quote, "Not enough capacity. Starlink has too much demand as it is."
Say that one more time, Sneed.
Starlink has too much demand as it is.
To do what?
To offer home broadband. Through T-Mobile. Like the question is will you partner with Starlink for home broadband?
I thought they already were.
No, that's mobile broadband.
Same thing, right?
No.
What's the difference?
They just want to be able to give you texting.
So they don't want to use, okay.
There's not enough capacity for Starlink to give them access beyond texting.
Interesting.
T priority. We learned some details about T priority today. 40% more capacity access to customers who have T priority, 2.5x the speeds, 5x the network resources during congested times. So some new stuff there. Oh, but there's more. Wholesale revenue growth is about to bottom out in 2025. It's going to increase from here, from 2025. So that's in reference to Dish and TracFone being cut off. This is a direct quote from Mike Sievert. Quote, "We don't have weak spots. Customers self-select to move up our price card. Our home broadband, the customers are taking premium. To me, this seems like they were kind of trying to pander to the whole Verizon piece. In reference to Verizon, Eugene was taking direct shots. He said, "We're not feeding on our base like some companies."
The hell is that supposed to mean?
I mean, let's be honest, the Verizon's kind of squeezing their base.
I mean, everybody is. I mean, I literally just said they're going to raise prices. You just said it like 5 minutes ago. Everybody in the industry is going to raise prices. So I mean, what is he? I don't understand what he's trying to say.
Well, they also like consistently grow the business with new customers. They're not just squeezing their base.
I mean,
Like
as soon as they pay one bill, they're the base, and they raise prices, then they raise prices.
Yeah, but they consistently acquire new customers every single quarter. It's not like situational. It's
okay if they raise prices as long as they grow.
No, it has nothing to do with that. There's
Then what are we talking about?
They're saying that they know they can add revenues and improve margins better than their competitors because they can do multiple things. They're basically saying Verizon is a one-trick pony.
Who has better margins than Verizon?
Nobody has better than margins than Verizon.
Okay, well then I don't understand. Like, I don't get it.
I'm just telling you what he said and what
I know. We're just talking. It's no problem. I'm just trying to understand what he's lying about this time. Like,
I
what is
get
it?
it.
I don't understand.
I got you. I know what you mean.
It doesn't make much sense to me. That's all.
Quote, "We have an ongoing opportunity to address legacy rate plans across the base. We didn't complete that program last year. More opportunity this year. We will remain the best value.
Price increases.
Lowest priced.
Price increases. Like I
But
said,
still
price
cheaper
increases.
than the competitors."
Yeah, that's fine. You can stay the cheapest as long as you know your place. Stay the cheapest, but that's still a price increase. That's all I'm saying.
I think T-Mobile's still trying to fight that, right? They can't shake the cheap carrier moniker. If they try not to be the cheapest player, it's probably going to really hurt their momentum.
More than likely.
Right. And if they lose their momentum, well, then what do they have?
Nothing.
Yeah. So I mean, that's a big thing there, you know?
Yes. They have to make sure they remain the cheapest because they know that's their overall value proposition is to be the cheap guy.
They have a new business. I don't know if it's new, but it's going to be a part of their future. Digital outdoor advertising. They want to transform digital media, make it completely addressable. They've got the customers that are willing to opt in for permissions, and that's going to be a business for them that they're going to get really excited about. Here's a quote from Mike Sievert. "We raised ARPA while creating options for price discerning customers." I'm telling you, he was really adamant about being able to get a cheap customer and then selling them up.
We'll see. As soon as the legacy prices start to go up a little bit, we'll see.
All right, so this is interesting. You know how I said in the past, T-Mobile doesn't like to partner with their competitors ever? Like if you can grow, if you can compete, if you can be like strong, T-Mobile doesn't really want to do business with you because then you're a threat, right? Here's what they said on that topic. He said, "We choose to work with brands that are better than ours. If it's more cost effective for us to work through them, easier for them to acquire customers than we are, or than it is for us." I don't know.
What's that supposed? I don't even understand what that means.
Basically, he's saying if they have a better brand for the customers they serve, well, then they would like to be the seller of the network to that person on wholesale, right? So they're basically saying that those companies have a better brand than T-Mobile. So if T-Mobile can't land the customer, they'll let them land the customer. They'll just sell the network access. So basically what Verizon is doing with cable.
What deals do they have out there like
But
that?
they don't really have anything, bro. Because like
exactly, like what?
Dish and you lost track phone. Like what is there? There's not much left.
Yeah, who else do they have? Okay,
I don't know. Maybe that's a hint that something's coming. I don't know.
Him lying again, like always. Go ahead, Sneed.
Mm-hmm. There was a question. What will the acquisitions do for EBITDA, free cash flow in aggregate? This was the Metronet Lumos US Cellular question. The CFO said it's incremental to the guide. We don't know when the deals are going to close, so they can't really talk about it. But he did say they would be value accretive in the long run. So basically the same thing that Verizon said.
How do they know? How do they not know when it's expected to close? They don't have an approximate date.
Regulations, bro. They could probably tell you the year, like they know that, but like
They didn't tell you the year. They didn't say anything.
I mean, it's going to be this year. It's going to be 2025.
Okay, so at least we know that. Okay.
Yeah. What else? Prepaid. This was crazy. So remember, Moose talked about this. In 2022, there was a massive immigration inflow into the U.S. T-Mobile said we didn't see huge inflows during that time period. So they don't expect to be impacted by any type of immigration issues.
So what did they report in prepaid this quarter?
Churn rate was like 2.9.
They didn't report growth?
2.85. Let me see here, actually. Like you're talking about like customer ads?
Yeah. I mean, everybody else, I mean, if Verizon didn't report, it'd be an issue. So what they report?
Prepaid net ads were 100,000.
Okay.
103,000. I mean, at least they weren't losses, I guess. I mean, that's pretty good. 103,000 is good.
Yeah.
I wonder where those customers came from. Maybe Boost. Because Verizon, that's 2 quarters of 60,000 plus. 2 straight quarters. I got to look. I think Cricket lost 100,000. Or AT&T prepaid in general lost 100,000. So they might have been some of that. All right. Some more stuff here. Another mention, by far the growth leader, best network access, best value. Moffett Nathanson called in. He asked about AT&T and their 40% wireless attachment rate with fiber. And Sievert responded, quote, "We have better churn and performance in places AT&T and Verizon have fiber."
Interesting that he never ever gives an example of a city that meets that particular situation. Because AT&T is industry leading in churn, correct?
Yeah.
And they sell more broadband fiber to the prim than anybody else, right?
Right.
So where is T-Mobile? What name a city? Name a city. Like, talk your shit. If you're gonna talk it, talk it. So what's the city?
That's a good point.
Just Seifert being Seifert, man. Lying and whatnot, man.
Here's another one. We have lower churn where Verizon has fiber.
Verizon has fiber everywhere in the country. And they beat T-Mobile in churn this quarter. What's another lie?
We are the broadband leader 12 quarters straight.
Okay. How are they quantifying that?
Fixed wireless access.
Fixed wireless plus fiber. I thought we said, including internet, air, and fiber, that AT&T grew the most this quarter.
But AT&T lost copper, so that's minus 100,000.
Also, we're counting copper. Like we're counting that.
AT&T's copper losses count against them as losses in subscribers. so here's what happens. Basically, AT&T Internet Air cancels the copper losses.
All right, so then you can count. Okay, so
it's 300,000.
So 300,000. How many did they grow?
No, that's what I'm saying. Is you had 307,000 fiber, you had 158,000 Internet Air, and then you had about 100,000 of the copper disconnects.
All right, how much did T-Mobile grow in broadband?
428.
Okay. All right.
And then Verizon was like right around there too.
Yeah, well, I think they did 408, something like that.
But then Verizon also added Fios. They had 50-some thousand. Like, we can't forget about that. So, see how they're all really close, B? They're all growing. They all perform like the way they said they would, the way they intend to.
That's the part that I don't understand. It actually was exceeding. Verizon exceeded a lot of their numbers. I think AT&T did as well. I mean, yeah, 2 of the 3 companies that grew pretty well after they released their stuff. Verizon grew too, but clearly not as much as the other guys, and I don't really understand why. And it doesn't make sense. It doesn't really make a lot of sense to me.
Yo, check this quote out from Sievert. Quote, "We are the primary connection at pharmacies and any place with outdated tech."
Okay.
He said, "We are not only the secondary or tertiary connection for businesses, but we are also their primary."
What business are they talking about? Like Get the gas station or something like that.
Enterprise Solutions.
Name one.
Business.
Name one. Why doesn't he name New York City?
He said pharmacies. He said pharmacies.
What
dog.
pharmacies? Who was he talking about? Like a mom and pop shop? Who was he talking about? Name a company. He always does that. He always does that. Everybody else names companies. He's like, well, we got the number one. All right. Well, which one you talking about? Which one?
Pete, what is your problem with T-Mobile, dog?
No, stop it. Don't even ask me that.
Yes, I'm gonna ask you because we're just going off the numbers, bro, and you're going like.
But I'm saying, like, what is the company? Okay, so you said pharmacy. What pharmacy? Which ones? They always have those blanket statements. You've said that yourself. Like, so who's the pharmacy? They name New York City. They named that contract, right?
Yeah.
I'm tripping?
No, I mean, it would be cool if he would have named some of those markets specifically where Verizon has the FiOS.
I mean, if you're confident, cite your stuff. What are we talking about? Oh, just tier 1 cities. Okay, well, which ones?
I don't know, man.
Nobody knows.
What else? Another quote. They're going to be doing Starlink in phases. This is how they're going to they said that customers will be self-selecting up our rate card. They're going to move to their value-packed plans. Bro, they said they were going to grow market share through the Starlink deal. Satellite connection is a differentiating service. They're going to get customers to move up the plans, and they're going to take market share with the Starlink. They also said they're going to sell it a la carte, meaning if you don't have a plan that includes it, they're going to sell it as a feature. What's your take on that, B?
I don't care. Do what they want to do. I mean, okay.
All right. They like fixed wireless access where it is. When they were asked about capacity and them maybe reinvesting and going bigger. All right, B, you got to tell me the truth, bro. What you think about this one? This one's heavy.
All right.
Mike Sievert said, quote, "We have a self-healing network. Our network is autonomous, and neighboring cells and sectors are beaming in to fix issues whenever other towers and sectors are having problems." Self-healing, sir.
I wouldn't even begin to know what that even means. I'm guessing maybe automated neighboring lists. I don't know what you're talking about, man. I never heard of a self-healing network. Maybe they got like some sort of Jesus software. I don't know. I don't know. I've never heard of that before. I mean, if he's talking about like handoffs, handovers, things of that nature, I mean, that being automated, that's been around for a decade.
But Dennis is in the chat. Power tilt and cells, that's not new.
That's not new at all.
We're not going to call that self-healing.
It's been around for a decade plus. So what, if they're just now turning that on, I mean, congratulations. I mean, it's been around since 2014, 2015, 2015.
Right. It's not like a new self-healing feature. That's just...
It's self-optimizing. It's like self-optimizing. It's those are LTE advanced features, though.
EM Tech says Verizon serves the 2 largest pharmacies in the country.
Talk about it, EM. That's why I wanted to. That's why I said and responded the way that I did. Which pharmacies are you talking about? Are you talking about Eckerd? I mean, who are you talking about? The Eckerd went out of business. Who are you talking about? You're not talking about Walgreens. You're not talking about CBS. Both of those companies have contracts with Verizon. So who are you talking about?
Dennis says it's not true. Verizon is the one that runs a ton of IoT things, especially with healthcare products. My CPAP machine connected to Verizon. My security system now uses Verizon from Vivint. Okay, and then MS kind of brings it in. Pharmacies use a special IoT network protocol that is regulated by the DEA, so that is why they cannot publish names.
Okay, Verizon certainly publishes names whenever they had contracts with the 2 top, like the largest pharmacies in the country. So what? They got different laws for different telcos?
B, what's your biggest problem in regards to the way that things were presented today by T-Mobile?
They stretch the truth. I'll just put it that way to be nice, since people think I'm doing too much. They stretch the truth. They really, really do. They stretch the truth.
You've accused them of cooking the books.
And they do.
I've noticed that they've exaggerated things quite a bit. I mean, look, it's their day. They report earnings. They want to show the world. They want to show the investor, continue your confidence that you have in us. We're delivering on the promises that we've made. We're going to continue to do it. But I got to tell you the truth, B. It's like a freaking party over there, dude. It's like a Super Bowl party, and they just won every quarter. If you were an investor, where would you put your money? Wouldn't you put your money in the party that looks like they're winning?
No.
No.
I need more of the balloons. Is my talking about my life here.
They got balloons, they got confetti, they got the thongs, they got everything, bro.
So if I put, you'll give me some money if I throw some balloons. Let me go to Party City right now. That's all it takes.
Another super chat. Thank you. T-Mobile with the new COO. I hear rumblings that Eugene is next to be replaced. It didn't seem like that when he discussed it. I mean, I wouldn't expect it to just kind of be out there like that. I mean, they're hitting on all cylinders, and he's leading the charge. He was CEO of the year 2 years ago. I don't know, man. And they just re-signed him last year or the year before, and they extended him through 2028. I don't know. I mean, if there was maybe a company restructure, I don't know. Maybe there's something to it. I mean, it would be purely speculative. You know, the company is really hitting on all their metrics. So I don't know. How do you reward a guy for doing that by demoting him or firing him or replacing him?
That's a stupid rumor. He'll be able to leave on his own terms.
Product, thank you for the super chat. Service revenue to cash flow conversion highest for T-Mobile. There you go, B. That's why the stock popped 8%.
Service revenue to cash flow conversion. So service revenue,
because they had the lowest capex. What do you think?
I mean, I'm sure that has something to do with it, but service revenue is 16.9 billion. And he's saying service revenue to cash flow conversion. Their cash flow is what?
4.2?
Worse than the industry. So how is that highest? I'm trying to understand. So they had the lowest service revenue. Sorry, what was the AT&T service revenues?
It was 4.1 billion for free cash flow for T-Mobile.
All right. So what was AT&T? Service revenue? AT&T service? Yeah, what was their service revenue?
Mobility was 16.6.
Okay. So both of them around 16 billion. And I think AT&T had free cash flow. What?
AT&T's is probably more like 20 billion because the consumer broadband.
Well, Verizon's was 20 billion. So
okay,
how much? What was the wireless service revenue for AT&T?
16.5.
Okay, 16.5. And the free cash flow at AT&T was what?
4.4. No, 4.8. Excuse me.
And T-Mobile's was 4. What?
4.1.
How is that service revenue to cash flow generation highest? What does that mean? Help me understand the math. Maybe I don't understand something. I'm just trying to be fair.
I've actually never heard that metric, Pratik, to be honest with you. I don't.
Me neither. It's another one of those smoking guns that T-Mobile. I don't know. I've never heard of that.
I mean, if it's meaningful and the investor cares, then why wouldn't they put it on the card, on the investor relations page? You would think it would be something that would brag, right? What up, Aries? What's up, my guy? Shout out to Aries. Thank you, man. Appreciate the super chat. What it do, man? What up, Neil? Is T-Mobile going to keep the Netflix on certain accounts? And how do I get the insider discount through T-Mobile since I'm already a customer? That you have to get from an employee. The discount code, the insider discount. I don't know if it's stackable anymore, but it used to be. So, I don't know. Maybe you could ask an employee the next time you go in there. Say, hey, look, I know about these insider codes. I'll buy a case, a phone, and a screen protector and a charger from you. Let me get the insider discount. I don't know. Make a deal, Neil. Thanks, Green. Appreciate the super chat. Who do you think will take most advantage of the new X80 modem of the three carriers with the new technologies it brings, and why? I mean, I guess T-Mobile, if they move more bandwidth over to 5G. For Verizon, their network stays pretty much the same in terms of configs, unless they start possibly doing something with SA additional, the millimeter wave, the CBRS, the N77. You know, like if they start doing stuff in there, then maybe that's the phone to have. AT&T, you know, it's not going to change anything. I don't know if it has the 4.9 frequency, the N79 piece. I don't know. But I'm sure it'll be great on Verizon. The millimeter wave is going to be phenomenal. It looks like the antenna systems are better. The modem's better, less heat, you know, deals with heat better, more efficient, better battery life. Yeah, definitely. All right, Pratik follows up. Thanks for the super chat, Green. Pratik says, it's the percentage of cash flow they convert. If their service revenue grows to 20 billion, they will have best cash flow. And I think they said they were going to grow the revenues by a couple of billion. Uh-oh. Will T-Mobile have more free cash flow than Verizon next year? Will it have more free cash flow than AT&T next year? Uh-oh.
We'll find out. Can they do it without price hikes? Because if they price hike, guys, then we got to keep that same energy.
Yeah.
We got to keep that same energy. Sneed, I'm not playing.
What if they drop capex and they raise prices?
I don't think they're going to do that. I mean, if they did, then hey, man, I don't know, but I don't think they would do that. They're already at $9 billion for free cash. What did they guide for free cash flow this year, Sneed?
Like, what did they guide to start the year?
Yeah, did they guide on free cash flow, or was that a secret?
Yeah, they guided. I think they guided 14 or 15 billion.
Okay, so at least they're going up a little bit. That's good.
Yeah, so they guided up. They guided up to 17 to 18.
They really?
Mm-hmm. For 2025, they said 17 to 18.
17, 18 billion free cash flow? I mean, excuse me, CapEx?
Oh, CapEx 9.5 billion.
Okay. About to say, Sneed.
No. The only company doing that is, I think Verizon's in at 17 to 18, and then AT&T is closer to 20, but they do a lot more with fiber. Verizon's buying fiber, so a little bit different. What up, Carlos? Salute, Carlos. Reactivated FirstNet. It's still hot trash like it was before.
Los, what's up, man? You all right? Hope everything is well with you, man.
What up, Los? All right, B. We got to talk, man.
What's up, man?
We got to talk, dog. So this is very simply.
Sneed, take that sign down.
Oh, my bad. But you were going in before.
I was.
All right.
I'm sorry, everyone. Right. I'm sorry, everyone. But I think it's hilarious that you made a sign, especially for me. Thank you.
It was just up it was only supposed to be up there while you were going off on the rant. Like once it stopped, it was supposed to go away. All right.
Yeah.
All right, B. They reported all of them. We got Big Cable, I think. I don't know if there's any this week for Big Cable, maybe, but for sure next week.
No one cares about Big Cable.
Oh, snap. What up, Zero Cool?
No, I know somebody that cares about Big Cable.
Nobody cares about Big Cable. Nobody cares about Big Cable. Not a soul.
Hold on, bro. What about the merger from hell, man?
Exactly. What about that? What's going to happen there?
No one cares about Big Cable.
Bro, if T-Mobile buys a cable operator, it's on like Donkey Kong, bro.
If that gets approved, then all hell breaks loose. Verizon, just buy AT&T. I mean, at this point, there's no reason to have it. There's no reason hold on. Let's do it.
Okay, hold on. What's the market cap of AT&T?
It's like 150 billion, something like that.
And how much debt do they have?
No, who cares? Just let
130 billion.
Doesn't matter. Just let them grow. Just let them merge. Just everybody just be one big happy family. We don't need any choice.
Why are we violating logic?
I mean, because T-Mobile was allowed to purchase Sprint. So I mean, if they can also purchase like one of the big cable carriers, then yeah, Verizon just merge with AT&T. Yeah, why not?
What? So if AT&T acquired Sprint, you would have been cool with that?
Honestly, Steve, no. when the Obama administration and the FCC and everybody said no, I thought that was the right thing to do. But when T-Mobile was allowed to purchase Sprint, like, yo, all bets are off. And so if they're again allowed to purchase another major company, to hell with it, man. Verizon just merged with AT&T. Because the consumer doesn't need choice, right? You guys agree?
I mean,
No.
let's put it this way: if T-Mobile does pull the trigger and buys Charter, then Verizon's going to buy Comcast. That's how it's going to. That's how it's
I
going to
mean,
go.
Verizon should buy Comcast and AT&T because we don't need
Verizon
choice.
Comcast share footprint. How the hell is that going to work?
Doesn't matter. I mean,
What do you mean it doesn't matter? Why do you keep saying that?
because Sprint was allowed to be consumed by T-Mobile, and now all bets are off. And so if they're allowed to buy,
Oh my
Yeah, but
god!
if they're
Sprint
if
was
they're allowed,
Sprint was on its way out.
it doesn't matter. Okay, so if you're about to die, you might as well just get gobbled up. Okay, fine. Well, you know what?
That's how you usually get approved.
They're allowed to purchase two companies within the same 20-year span. Fine, so be it. Let them do it. AT&T and Verizon just merged. They were friends before. Mom Bell, it was the same thing. Just go back together again. Everybody's a happy family. We have two big superpowers. That's enough competition, right?
I mean, I can't imagine the narrative, what they're going to say. Of course, if T-Mobile does buy Charter, it's going to say like, "Oh, we need to compete with Verizon and AT&T." Then from Charter's side, it'll be like, "Oh, we're dying of cable. We can't."
But they're already competing with Verizon, right?
Yeah.
Where Verizon has fiber, we have better churn. They're already competing with Verizon, right? They're the big dogs on campus, right?
We got a new banner for you, B.
Well, here's the thing. It's all about wireless and fiber. And Comcast actually went on record, this week at least, saying that fiber is where it's at. Right? They have that. It's gonna, it's happening now. It's always been the future. It's always what's gonna be. So we'll just have to see what happens. And I just, I think, I personally think a cable operator is going to be knocked out of the game.
Okay, so if again, I don't know why I'm getting the disdain here. I'm not the one with the crazy ideas. If like Zero Cool's the one that's talking about some merger from hell, that's him, not me.
Well,
so why you guys coming at me? How come I'm not making sense?
if you follow the stories, what's been happening, like from T-Mobile, like they're getting this new CEO, this potential successor to Sievert, and I've been thinking about that today. So it's kind of like this. T-Mobile was struggling at a point. They didn't have any customers. Their network was absolutely horrible. Right? They hired John Ledger to do a bunch of trash talking, beef up. Do a bunch of trash talking, get as many customers as possible, right? And act like the cool kids on the block. Right? Once they had all those customers, then the job for Sievert was to say, okay, no more Un-carrier. Now that we have the customer base that's greater than AT&T, now we can raise our prices and start to act like a big carrier, right? So once that's step two. When step two is done, then
That's a lie.
Right, but what step two is done, step three.
I'm sorry, Zero Cool. I'm sorry, I apologize. Not you. T-Mobile definitely purchased Sprint. They paid money for it. I don't know what he's talking about. With all due respect, continue, Zero Cool. My bad.
But so once step two is done, step three is to buy the cable company and have that new CEO that's supposed to be good on process improvement and process operations to actually streamline everything and get into wireline. That's kind of like how I approach it. And T-Mobile is they're actually doing what they said. They're testing out some JV fiber, right, with MetroNet and whatever else. And it's just a thing. And as far as Altice goes, no one's gonna buy or worry about them because they only have the footprint in like New York area for fiber. The footprint's horrible. So, but the future is definitely fiber and wireless. Those are the only two things that companies worry about. No one's gonna no one's ever gonna care about 80-year-old coax, right? Well, they got the fiber to go along with it.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, clearly they need help. I mean, they're struggling. Then they need some support. If someone doesn't purchase them, then they're going to be in trouble. So T-Mobile comes to save the day, and I mean, T-Mobile purchases Charter, whoever. Yeah, I mean, let it happen. Great, that's fine. That way, AT&T and Verizon can merge, and everybody's happy, right?
But look, every time
Mhm.
they ask Eugene, Mr. Sweaty Armpits himself, they ask him about cable, they ask him about Charter and Spectrum and Comcast and Xfinity. They say the same thing. We only want to acquire fiber. But the bulk of the premise technologies that run to these homes is not fiber. It's cable. And it's outdated cable. It's not even upgraded. Like, they're billions away from actually upgrading. I don't care what the technologies are. I don't care if it's mid splits, high splits, banana splits. It doesn't fucking matter. It ain't fiber.
I think they're gonna find like a cheap way to do it. If you think about how Verizon's purchasing Frontier. They bought Frontier, right? They're replacing all that old DSL, right? AT&T just gave up DSL and copper, right? They're scrapping all that, going straight fiber. So the only logical step that's left is, okay, T-Mobile's thinking, okay, we have to do the same thing, but with who, right? How do we get fiber in the ground as fast as what Verizon's doing and as fast as what AT&T is doing with BlackRock and stuff like that, right? Cable companies the answer to that equation. Does that make sense? Does that make more sense, TB?
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Everything that you said makes perfect sense, which is why I believe AT&T and Verizon should just merge. Like, everybody just merge, and we have two companies, and that's the choice that the American people have. That's enough choice for everybody, right?
No, I
Everybody wins.
mean,
Everybody wins, right?
it's good. It's like the same situation like in Canada, right? We got three big players in Canada, but I can see two happening. But
Yeah. So I'm
we'll
like,
see.
if everybody merges, that's more choice for the American people. You have more fiber network, more availability for people to be able to connect. Everybody wins. I mean, since all bets are off, since there's no rules anymore. I mean,
You don't like this because you're limiting competitors? Is that why? Is that the
I'm
deal
sorry,
here?
I didn't understand your question. What happened?
You don't like this because a competitor is going to be eliminated? Is that kind of like your?
I mean, I thought that like choice is the reason why AT&T wasn't allowed to purchase Sprint. Now it looks like all of the rules have changed. So if the rules have changed and we're allowed to go from 4 carriers to 3, then one of those big 3 carriers purchases one of the largest cable companies in the country, then why not just have AT&T and Verizon merge?
Because you're combining a wireless and a wireline carrier, right? So it's two separate kind of businesses. It's kind of like
Are you
merging.
serious? Are you
Yes,
serious?
I'm being dead serious. Yes, it's kind of like you're merging apples and oranges together, not
Oh
apples and
wow! So
apples.
we're gonna split hairs that thin? Like, really? We're gonna split like?
T-Mobile's premise is going to say we don't have a fiber. They don't have a fiber game. They don't have fiber anything. They need fiber. This is the quickest
So
way to
buy
get it.
some. I mean, Corning sells it by the reel. Just buy some.
That's not. You can't just buy fiber and expect to put it underground because.
I mean, you can. You can buy a reel
Hold
of fiber whenever you want.
Okay, but the problem is that who owns the access, like on the poles, right? So who owns the telephone poles? Okay, it's Comcast, it's Charter, it's AT&T. So when you try to run fiber like that, they actually have to get permission from the incumbent carrier to the pole owner, I should say, to do that.
Very
Hold
true.
on. Let me get a
Okay.
response from you guys on this, especially you, B. We didn't go from 4 carriers to 3. We went from 2 carriers to 3. What's your take on that, B?
I want to understand how that's factual. So
He's
please tell me.
basically saying
Please understand.
neither T-Mobile nor Sprint could compete with the big 2.
Really?
That's
Really?
what he said. Yes, yes.
Really? So they weren't considered one of the like 4 largest carriers in the country?
I mean, yeah, but they're just saying they were dying.
Yeah, it's really how you paint the narrative as how a merger gets approved. Really, how you paint the narrative. Okay, T-Mobile bought Sprint because Sprint was literally dying. If you look at the history of Sprint video, they were literally bankrupt, literally on their last legs, like ramen noodle time. Like uh, and now T-Mobile's story is, hey, we don't have fiber. Verizon just bought T-Mobile is justified into buying whoever the heck they want because Verizon has bought Frontier now.
But they've already, but they're already competing very, very well. We just spent an hour talking about how great. How does that not matter? But I'm the one that's great. You know what? I don't understand.
Yo,
You guys
hold
love
up.
to attack. You guys love to attack me. I am
Hold
the
on.
punching bag of this show.
No,
But I don't
hold
understand
on.
how that logic. Why isn't
B, check
anybody
this out.
attacking Zero Cool in the comments? Why aren't
Check-
you guys mad?
B, hold on. Listen to this comment. 3/4 of the state of Pennsylvania wasn't usable on either T-Mobile or Sprint. Now
Good
T-Mobile's
point.
the best in the state.
Yep.
Say that one more time. I'm sorry. What happened?
3/4 of the state of Pennsylvania was not usable on either T-Mobile or Sprint. Now T-Mobile is the best in the state.
According to what?
According to him.
Oh, according to him. Okay. So according to like scientific testing and stuff like that, they don't win Pennsylvania.
Bro, this
Sorry.
guy drives the state like every day. That's like his thing, bro. He's all over the place.
So does Root Metrics. I mean,
They do it once a year.
I mean, if you
They
think
do
about
it twice a year. They don't win. They don't win Pennsylvania.
if you think about it too, if you're T-Mobile, why would you want to keep on paying, backhaul rent, especially to Charter, when you can own the fiber and build a lot more footprint? Think about the market share. Hold on. Think about the market share that they're going to acquire, especially in places where T-Mobile doesn't have stores, right? Wisconsin UPB example, right? They're going to instantly gain market share, instantly gain customers. It's a win-win. They look at the market share, the customers, and the fiber. I mean, who wouldn't want that?
So I
understand. We gotta change your name to V officially.
I understand the logic for T-Mobile and how it benefits them. I agree with you, Zero Cool. My question is how it benefits the consumer. I could have sworn the consumer wanted choice. If we're okay with less choice, then I'm all right with that because hey,
right,
that's fine. But if that's the case and all bets are off, then why wouldn't a crazy idea like Verizon AT&T, why wouldn't that be encouraged by the consumer as well?
I'll tell you how it's going to benefit the customer. So all those cable customers that have cable with Charter are going to get upgraded instantly to fiber. So there's a reason why the whole DOCSIS 4.0 thing. They're going to run. T-Mobile is going to craft a way and figure out how to do exactly what Verizon's doing with Frontier. Get fiber into the homes, have fiber to the home, or have fiber to the curb. Okay, so that's exactly how it's going to benefit the customer. Plus, it's going to be, their pitch is probably something like, "Hey, we're going to be cheaper wireless option than what Charter was with the Verizon partner." I'm sorry, than what the Charter was with the Verizon partnership that they have now.
Hey, Zero Cool, can I ask you something, sir?
Uh-huh.
Do you think that the ghost of Randall is still haunting AT&T, or do you think they've righted the ship?
Oh,
Or are they at least on the right track?
The ghost of Randall is still haunting them. They have not righted the ship yet. They're turning this ship, but they haven't sped up the ship. That's kind of like my take on that.
What do you say, B?
I don't know what to say, man. You guys are right. Whatever you say.
I'm asking for your opinion. Do you think AT&T has righted the ship, or do you think the ghost of Randall still haunts them?
I got to pray about it. I'm not sure.
I mean, let's put it this way. Like I said, B, this is a true fact that will happen if Charter's bought out by T-Mobile. Verizon has already said they've been kind of almost going on record and saying they're going to buy Comcast. And that's it. And the ball game's over.
Now, I haven't heard that record, but maybe you heard something I didn't hear. But all I know is, hey, man, if all bets are off and the American people are now okay with all these mergers, then I'm fine. To each his own. If Verizon buys Comcast, I don't want to hear a word, nothing from anybody. Everybody just approve it and we're good. If T-Mobile purchases Spectrum, fine. I don't hear anything about lack of choice. Right. I don't care. At the end of the day, like, hey, I don't care. Hey, we are okay with it. I'm fine with it. Let's do it.
Right.
Fine.
Let me address this. This one's good. TBH, mid-split cable versus fiber doesn't matter to the average consumer. It'll mostly be the same to them. It's just the explosive pricing from cable that makes it unattractive. But that's not what the conversation is. The conversation is, why does T-Mobile keep telling us they're only interested in fiber? Why don't they want to buy cable then?
Maybe they can't afford it right now. I don't know. Maybe they got to raise some more money.
So the war chest with T-Mobile is about $36 billion right now. So if you look at the market cap of Charter, it's about like what 45, 41, 45.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not going to take them much more in a couple of years to pull that trigger with the debt market.
So be it, man. Everybody just buy each other. Like I said, Verizon and AT&T come together.
Yeah.
Everybody just buy everybody. I mean, that way, we just have these super big two companies, but everybody has access to whatever, like the
So we're
fiber
gonna-
providers. They got some.
Cool.
Hey, everybody's got what they want, right?
So B, we're gonna break them up every 40 and then let them come back together for a minute.
I mean, America likes to play games, right? Let's play games.
Consumer will get free lines, B.
That solves everything.
Everybody
There we
gets
go.
more chicken, B. We win, bro.
Exactly. So let's just merge. Everybody just merge. Less choice, more chicken. Less choice, more chicken. There we go.
And Max gets his Tesla.
Max is his Tesla.
And Zero Cool gets the merger from hell he's been calling for the last 7 years.
right.
What a
Bro,
world.
seriously, he was talking about this in 18, bro.
Yeah,
Well-
that's because I knew it was I knew it's happening. It just takes time. Plus, I got a nice bet with Dennis going on too.
What a
Not
world
just
we
Dennis.
live in. What a world we live in. I'm going with Dennis.
What up, Anthonius? All right, guys. Anything else for the go to the order before we close out the show?
Please don't let any of this stuff that we just talked about for the last 30 minutes happen, Lord. Amen. Including the stuff I said. Because if we have all those mergers, I know everybody's not going to be happy about it. So, I mean,
How could anybody be happy?
if the regulators allow it to happen, then screw
Yeah.
them. Screw them, yo.
I
Real
mean,
talk.
nobody
Yeah,
likes
straight
cable.
up.
Name
Straight
one
up.
person that likes cable.
Well, people just want cable to be better. They're not saying somebody buy them, and definitely not some company that's run by the Germans. No disrespect to Germany.
Yeah.
I get it, man.
I mean, I don't know anymore, man. This country's just, I don't know. I don't even know where I live anymore, man. It's crazy out here.
All right, guys. Please do like and share this. If it's your first time here, you've been lurking, you've been hanging around, go ahead and hit the subscribe. Turn on the bell notifications symbol, and that'll notify you every time we drop videos or we go on a live stream. And we got a ton of content. Like I said, guys, every week there's something going on in the industry. The carriers are busy. The networks are getting upgraded. There's a whole lot of action, and we're covering all of it. This is your one-stop shop for all things telco, whether it's home broadband, mobile networks, marketing, advertising, home internet, whatever. We cover everything here. We do network testing. We do it all. So shout out to my members. Shout out to my patrons. We appreciate you guys supporting us on those platforms. To everybody who threw a super chat tonight, thank you so much. Ways to support us can be found in the description box. Shout out to B, Zero Cool, and all the people who join us here on the panels. You guys are the best. Thank you so very much. We will see you all on the next video. Peace.
Peace.